Hi guys, welcome back to Planet Mithril, and welcome back to my buffed or nerfed series of videos, the series where I take profiles from the old edition of Middle-earth strategy battle game and compare them to the brand new ones and let you know if they have been buffed, nerfed, or stayed the same. And today I'm going back to my roots, I'm going back to my favourite armies of Middle-earth. I'm taking a trip back to Gondor, and I'm starting with the general that I tend to always take, actually, mainly because, like we always know, theme is key for me, so I'm going to be comparing the stats for Denethor, Steward of Gondor. So, in the previous edition, Denethor came in at 35 points and was a hero of valor, meaning he could lead 15 models in his warband. His stat line was as such. He was a movement of 6 inches, obviously it's befitting most men-sized models, a fight value of 5 and a shoot value of 4+, so we can throw those tomatoes at people fairly consistently. A strength of 4, defense 5 with 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 5, with 0 might, 3 will, and 0 fate. So he was a one and done. Once he lost those 2 wounds, he was out. And with defense 5, he wasn't the hardest nut to crack, particularly when you've only got 4 Fountain Court Guard in his list, in his warband with him, as that's apparently how I roll. In regard to his war gear, he has armor and a sword, nice and basic, super simple. Don't get any bonuses for that big flowy grey robe. Obviously, having no might points, he's got no heroic actions available to him. In regard to his special rules, he has the synonymous Broken Mind special rule. This was before priority was rolled. You would have to roll a courage test for Denethor, which I always forgot to do before we rolled priority until I was reminded, or it came to actually moving Denethor. If you fail the courage test, then the opposing player controls Denethor for the turn. The owner of Denethor cannot harm him while he's under the opponent's control, so you can't shoot him, you can't attack him, you can't wound him if he happens to charge one of your guys and you win the fight against him. He just goes a little bit loopy and starts running around, potentially charging into your own models and disrupting your own lines. So really themey, fits really well with how Denethor is in the film. There comes with an additional rule there. If Boromir is alive and in the same army, then Denethor will automatically pass all of these Broken Mind tests for the duration of the game, up until when Boromir dies. If Boromir dies and Denethor's in the same list, then Denethor will actually automatically fail the first test he has to take, and then start causing havoc in your own lines, I have no doubt. Obviously very themey, loses his favourite son, and just goes a bit off the rails as a result of that. It also comes with the additional rule of
rule of Gondor is mine, and no others.
Which means Denethor must be your army leader unless your force also contains Aragorn LSR. So it didn't matter if you had Gandalf, Boromir, whoever else. If you had Denethor on the list at the same time, he was always your general, because he's babysitting Gondor, he's babysitting Minas Tirith, the Steward of Gondor, only to be usurped by the true Lost King of Gondor once he returned. Okay, let's compare old Denethor to brand new Denethor. He comes in now at 50 points flat. He's seen a 15 points increase from the previous edition, and is still considered a hero of valor, so can obviously still lead a 15 model in his warband. His stat line's taken a fair bit of a buff, I would argue. He is a movement 6 still, with a fight value of 5, and still got a shoot value of 4+, so he hasn't got any worse or any better at throwing those tomatoes at people. Strength 4. Crucially now he is standard defense 6, so he's got a little bit more stay power and defense against the standard rank and file. Still got 2 attacks, still 2 wounds, courage value of 5+ with an intelligence value of 5+. The biggest shock to me when I looked at his profile in the new edition was he now has reserves of might and fate. He has 2 might points, 3 will points still, and 1 fate point. So he has got a lot more utility and a lot more, just clout, I think, on the table, because whenever I used to run him, he used to sit in between 4 Fountain Court with a banner behind and hide there all game. The Fountain Court wouldn't get into combat unless they really had to. They were there to defend Denethor, whereas now I think you wouldn't necessarily mind throwing Denethor in against, not necessarily heroes, but definitely against, warriors and models that have a lower fight value than him, where he can easily get the 1-up with his 595. I think you'd be less reluctant to throw him in, knowing that you're not just going to take 2 wounds and die. And you've got a bit more ability to be able to win the fight if you happen to roll badly with those might reserves. His baked-in war gear has been increased to heavy armor and a hand weapon, so that accounts for the +1 defense. He no longer has just armor, he has heavy armor instead. With the addition of might point reserves comes the addition of heroic actions, of course, and they have given him heroic defense. So he has nothing offensively he can use, no strike, no strength, nothing like that, and that makes perfect sense given his character in Return of the King. but it does make him a lot harder to put down if you're wanting to spend those might points on keeping him alive. Heroic defense obviously then meaning that models can only wound him on a natural roll of a 6, so he then becomes this defense 6, wounding on a 6+ natural model that for at least 2 turns could be quite a roadblock actually against some of the rank and file. So I'm interested in playing with that and seeing how that actually works for him, particularly when it comes to if he's your general in the list, which if you're playing me and Gondor and you've got him in the list, he's always going to be your general because theme is key. But I'm really interested to see how heroic defense works with Denethor and those might points on the table. He has the leader of Citadel Guard and Fountain Court Guard role as well, so he can take Fountain Court and Citadel Guard in his warband. And his Broken Mind stays more or less the same. It is the word is slightly differently now. It now takes place after priority, so obviously when I've forgotten to do it before priority, hopefully there's a bit more of a reminder there when you've started rolling dice, at least for me. Crucially now, it's the test for if he loses his mind is done on intelligence rather than courage, so making use of the extra stat value he's got there. But it also states that if the enemy player is controlling Denethor for that turn, then he cannot use any of Denethor's might, will, or fate, so there's no risk of him losing any of his brand new values of resources if he just happen to fall under enemy control. Given the change to how army lists are constructed, and obviously the Legion style way of building armies in the books now, he has now lost the
Rule of Gondor is mine, and no others.
Rule, because he's only going to be featured in the lists that he's in canonically and thematically from the film and the books, which I think it's only actually one. I think it's actually just a Minas Tirith list, so there's no more chance to take Denethor in a list with Aragorn LSR as well, so pointless putting it all in. I must admit, I was pleasantly surprised when I saw that Denethor had been changed. As somebody who I think runs him more often than I probably should in my Gondor armies, I'm one of those people. I don't really know why. Theme is key, and I like the idea of taking Denethor and Boromir and Faramir in that kind of family Gondorian era of Middle-earth. But my judgment on Denethor is thus: I am happy to say that he has been well and truly buffed between him from the old edition to the new edition now. The addition of might points, fate points, getting the heroic defense to keep him alive a little bit more, and upping his defense a little bit. I think you're going to see a lot more utility come out of Denethor on the tabletop if you are running him with your Gondor forces, particularly with Boromir in there as well, and Faramir's got some rules with him, but I'll get to Faramir at a later point. But yes, I'm happy to say that Denethor has been buffed, even considering the 15-point increase. I'm happy with 15 points given what we've got as a result of that. Well, there we are. There is another hero done for our Buffed or Nerfed series. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you so much to all our patrons who are continuing to support the channel there. You can support the channel for as little as £1 a month, or you can join the treasure trove and get access to PDF guides, paint conversion charts, hobby tools, and early access to videos, early access to painting videos as I can get them out. But thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you all for supporting the channel in whatever way you do. And as always, guys, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.